people know, but it was columns that Roy Gandhi made first. It was later that he invented some of the best vinyl record players in the world. Planar 3 and Planar 1 Plus. Now Rega produces CD players, amplifiers, phono preamplifiers, the same vinyl players, speakers. Everything for enthusiasts of high quality sound. However, they are primarily recognized for their helicopters. Today let's see what distinguishes Planar 3 from Planar 1 Plus. Let's understand whether we need to overpay money or not. And let's determine why hi-fi and most of the different audio publications worldwide refer to these products as the finest in their category. The first difference is of course the color. The first planar can only be black and white, but the third planar can already be purchased in a sexy burgundy color. It's cool, you just want to touch it. The second point is the mat under the vinyl record. In the third plane it is qualitative, an order of magnitude more qualitative than in the first plane. Here it is thin and it doesn't look like felt at all, you know, it's like some really cheap lining that I would definitely replace. And naturally, the primary cause of good sound is concealed beneath it. This is a plastic disc located in the foreground. Can you visually perceive what he looks like? By the way, it is made quite well despite being plastic. And here in the third plane we have 12 millimeters of glass, in the second plane 10 millimeters and here 12 millimeters, and it is heavy in weight. You can truly feel the immensity of it, and it should be that way, designed specifically to dampen and minimize all vibrations. It still looks cool. 12mm glass lump, she is polished and has a shiny appearance. The support bearing in the third plane is an order of magnitude larger. It appears to be nearly twice as thick and more massive in size. In the initial plane he is not as potent but still possesses authority. I would not recommend changing the disc in the first plane to the third one, if such an opportunity arises, because this bearing, in theory, should not withstand long-term work with such weights, because this disc is significantly lighter than the one in the third plane. Tone arms, here we have RB330, manually assembled in England in Essex, and here we have a more straightforward 110 tone arm. Even in terms of looks, they are quite distinct. In the first plane there is no strict adjustment of the clamping force as in the third plane. RB330 also has a force winding regulator which we can set to 0, 1 or 2. By the way, this is a useful function that allows you to adjust the tone arm more accurately. According to the engineer Freg, the third planar is stiffer than competitors because it has the plate called the double brace. The distance between the pivot bearing and the tone arm of this part should be maximally rigid in order to dampen and suppress all vibrations. In the third plane, there exists a structural element that adds a high level of rigidity to the sound. Without a doubt, this has a highly positive effect. Vinyl records sound superior, more distinguished, with quieter pauses on the third turntable. He is very productive. Yes, the first planar is also good, but the third one is the best due to all these developments. The only thing I don't like is the non-removable cord in the third plane with cheap neutral connectors that I can't just replace. Dust covers on first and third planar surfaces are visually indistinguishable. They are the same, they feel plastic. The downside, of course, of these covers is that they scratch very easily, so it's better to touch them either with gloves and wipe them with non-abrasive materials. If you handle your turntable carefully, these protective covers will ensure a long and happy lifespan for your vinyl player. And they'll die on the same day. With a vinyl player, the defense is easily removed. We need to press on 2 plastic plugs from behind. And voila! You have the lid in your hands and you can throw it away. And then the planar 3 will be exposed and you will be able to touch it, feel it as you pass by. But he's cool. Players aren't DJs, so it's not worth bringing them to the club, and scratching on them isn't recommended. Usually the ALS2 head is placed on the third planar, but here we have a more advanced exact, which by the way is made manually. Because the planar is made so well, the third, it appears to me that you could put an even cooler head on it, and this will extract all the juices from it completely. You will get the best sound possible. Our test head Exact has a multi-radius elliptical sharpening of the solid diamond needle of the Vital type. Yes, she plays better than Alice too. The first planar has a toner hand assembly, but the head is carbon, unfortunately, assembled by cyborgs. Motor of unit is small, quiet, asynchronous, operates at 2.4V. Rega provides lifetime warranty for planar headphones. However, it's hard to grasp what could break unless your cat runs across the working planar. The weight of the first turntable is 4 kilograms 200 grams. The weight of the third turntable is already 6 kilograms, significantly larger, but it also has a more massive support bearing plus glass. They say it took Roy Gandy and a whole team of Rega 2 whole years to improve the RP3 and make it a more perfect planar 3. After 2 weeks spent in close contact with these two vinyl players, I know exactly why they are so loved in the press. The sound is simply stunning with both devices. I give them 10 points. Well, when you listen to the first turntable and switch to the third, you understand how differently they play in terms of quality and presentation of material. Undoubtedly, the third planar, it is more noble, sweeter. I want to listen to him over and over again. But again, if we switch to the first planar and compare it with competitors, for example, with Project, we understand that it's just a killer. He kills everyone in this price range. Plus, it's also good that it has a built-in phono corrector. But on the other hand, the ordinary Planar 1 is also magnificent. Our Planar 3 receives 9 points for functionality because it has a non-removable cord. Kindly explain to me the reason behind making this wire in a player of such high-class quality. Yes, it is of good quality. You can see that it is branded, it is directional, but here are the cheapest Nutric connectors, Rian. I want to replace them. Why can't I replace the cords without intruding? After all, this will void the warranty. 10, 9, reliability. There is no reason to assume that these devices will malfunction. However, there are a lot of mechanical components in this area. After examining the thrust bearing in the initial planar and in the third one, and comparing them, I can confidently state that the third planar is more dependable. However, it belongs to a completely different price range. If we consider the same weight of the device for reliability, I believe there will be no doubts. The first planar receives a design score of 10, while the second planar receives 9 points due to the presence of a plastic disc, which is not as appealing. It is simple and does not have the same allure as the one on the third planar, which is incredibly attractive. The planar itself is quite sensual, especially in the beautiful burgundy color. It is truly stunning. I want to touch him, I want to look at him, I want to touch him, I want to listen to songs on him. Therefore he gets 10 points without a doubt. Another small downside of the first plane is that it was painted by Pakistani Englishmen. Certainly they are not particularly friendly towards painting, as the quality of this table and this one is significantly different. Let's attribute it to the budget. I hope all went as planned, not my desired result. This is truly true as he performs amazingly. Ergonomics. The first planar receives 9 points. Here everything is fine, but still there is no clamping force regulator like in the third planar. The sole aspect is 3 legs, however, conversely, I am cognizant that it is more advantageous to possess 3 legs as opposed to 4 due to the fact that it is purported to offer enhanced stability. But I still like 4 legs. Here, by the way, there are also 3 legs, therefore 9-10. Our main indicator is the price-quality ratio. Definitely 10 points to the first planar. In addition, I tested the 8th planar ahead of schedule prior to the 3rd planar. They resemble dragons as they annihilate all of their adversaries. The best option in terms of price-quality ratio, there are of course representatives in the project who also play well, but still everyone usually looks up to Regu. If you want to step onto the dark path of a vinyl lover, you can choose any of the turntables according to your budget. They are all incredibly cool. The first planar, the 8th planar, the 10th planar, if you have the financial resources to afford it. They are all competitive, each with their own tricks, each with their own advantages, and they decimate everything in their path.